Hello and welcome to Dobbs Cycle Works. My name is Dobbs, and tonight I'm coming to you from my attic office here, and we're going to be talking about some intro-level endurance road bikes. Now, this video is specifically for people that are looking to get into cycling and don't really know where to start on where to buy a bike, what you're going to be looking for, and what types of bikes that are best for you. Now, obviously, some disclaimers with this. This is just a couple suggestions of 10 bikes that I have found that I'm a big fan of. I think all 10 of these bikes are really fantastic. One of the things that we're going to be looking at also is the upgradability of these bikes. A lot of them do have the ability to be upgraded very easily, so that's going to give you a lot of longevity out of the bike, not just your initial purchase. So down the road, you can update wheels, you can update the group sets entirely. You can do a lot of work to them to make them a whole lot more of a newer bike that kind of ages with the time. So we're going to get right into this. The first bike that we have here is the Fuji Sportif 2.3. Now, I've owned two Fujis in my life. One of them I bought on my 21st birthday, and it was a 1978 Fuji Club Fuji. That thing was steel framed, it was a tank, and I loved it dearly. I loved it so much that the next bike I bought, I went out and I got a Fuji Ribbe 1.0 that came with SRAM Ribble. That was my first time using SRAM, and I really loved it. Now, the Sportif 2.3 coming in only at about $900, so really good price, and it does have a very wide range of sizes for you to choose from. One thing to note, before you are actually shopping for a bike, you need to go get fitted for a bike. You need to go to a bike store and have them actually do a fitting for you. This will cost a little bit of money at most stores. Sometimes they can do it for you for free, but kind of let them know that you're getting into cycling, you're wanting to know what your bike fit is, and you need to do some measurements. So before you even look at bikes online, do that first. This one does have a very nice range of sizes here to choose from, so it gives you a lot of different options. As for the actual bike itself, what you're going to get is you are getting a Shimano Claris group set or Microshift 8. Right here. And I love how it says that through it. It's like, well, you're getting one or the other. But either way, you are getting the intro level of Shimano's group sets there. You are also getting, with the fork, it is going to be alloy for the fork. The entire frame is alloy. All of these are going to be alloy frames. But this one does have a threaded bottom bracket. That's very good for upgrading later. I do like threaded bottom brackets. I know there's a lot of debate between threaded or just BB30, BB86 systems. You'll learn about all that later. This one, I think overall, I think it's a good bike. This would do you well to start out with. A little bit on the hefty side, 10.79 kilograms, 23.77 pounds, but overall, for the price, I think it's a really good deal. I think it's a good bike that you could use for quite some time, get a lot of use out of, get a lot of fun with. Moving on to our next bike, we have the Decathlon Triban RC 500. Now, there's a lot of talk around these bikes. They are pretty much an online only. They do have them in some stores, but a lot of reviews on these bikes that are showing them to be very promising and very, very good. You are a little bit more limited on sizes here. It looks like we've only got about 5 size options from extra small to extra large. Pretty good price point though at $1,199. And you are also now getting Shimano Sora, one level up from Shimano Claris. So you're getting a little bit better of the group set here right out the gate. Now, it's important to note this one is also a disc brake Shimano Sora, so a little bit more control with braking, especially in wet conditions. Now, I am a staunch defender of rim brakes. I am rim brake till you die. But the problem is that every single company, every wheel company is moving to disc brakes. So if you do want to update down the line, a disc brake bike now is going to probably save you in the long run and be a little bit easier to find some upgrades for. As for this bike itself, what you're really kind of getting with it, now you do have clearance for 28mm tires, a little bit more comfort there. Overall, though, it is pretty standard. It's going to have 6061 T6 aluminum. We're going to see that a lot in a couple of these bikes because it is a very common grade of aluminum to use, especially in lower end endurance bike, intro kind of level construction for frames. You are going to be getting the Shimano Sora, which, like I was saying, is an upgrade from Claris. Claris is an 8-speed group set. This is going to be 9, which means you're going to have 2 in the front, 9 in the back. technically 18 when you kind of multiply that together. One of the things that I think really bumps this bike up into my number 9 space is that with this really great 6061 aluminum frame, and the components really do just look great. That Sora is taking its silhouette from some of the higher up Shimano group sets. It's kind of trickled down over the years, but I think this carbon fork that does come with it is just brilliant. I think that looks great. It almost looks identical to the fork that I have on my Specialized Tarmac, and I think it just looks like a really great bike. This would be a perfect one as an intro for anyone looking to get into the sport and not wanting to spend a whole lot of money but get a whole lot of fun. Next up, we have the Trek Domani AL2 disc. Now, there are 2 versions of this bike. There is a disc version and there is a rim brake. Like I was saying, as much as I do love rim brake, I think it is probably better for you in this day and age to start out with a disc brake bike because it is going to make things easier in the long run. This one, a little bit more colors to choose from. That's a nice little feature. You got these 5, including these 2 blues that they're blue. I can't really tell the difference between them. I mean, they're blue. You are going to get a 6 ranges of sizes here, anywhere from a 49 up to a 61, so that's definitely good. Now, some of the features that I think are really cool here, Trek does have really amazing aluminum frames. They really kind of always have. I've had 2 different aluminum Treks back in the day. I had a Trek 1000 and a Trek 1200 that were given to me by my team when I was racing as a junior. Loved both of them. Crashed the 200 on my very first day on it. Absolute first ride, probably about 6 miles in, crashed it, wiped out right through a corner. Specs we're going to look over real quick. Now, we are going back to the Shimano Claris, I believe, with this one. Yes, we are back on Claris R2000, so we're going down a little bit on grade, but I think overall with the frame, carbon fork, all of that kind of stuff, it does bump it up a little bit in my book. You are also going to have space for up to 35C tires without the fenders, or 32C if you do put fenders on it. That's another thing that is some great little options if you do want to use it for commuting, not just for really getting into the sport itself. Now, with 35C tires, obviously that's going to be a lot more comfortable. You're going to have a little bit more grip. It's going to be good for kind of getting into the sport and not like when I started and everybody was on 23C tires and we were pumping them up to 4 million PSI and making them as hard as rocks and just rolling with that. Overall, I do think this is a very good bike. Originally, I wanted this bike to be in my number 2 spot, but then as I was going through and kind of looking at the photos, and I was looking a little bit closer to the actual bike itself, and the frame looks great. We've got some extra rack mounts here. We've got, you know, so you do have the Duo Trap here, which is going to be a really cool feature. What this is essentially your cadence. It's going to be your speed. It's going to give you a lot of data fed back to your computer or even Bluetooth to your phone. So that is really cool. And I know this is going to sound stupid to a lot of you, but the one thing that really kind of dropped it down in my book a little bit, because I wanted it higher up originally, is this right here, this Shimano Hyperglide cassette. Now, the Hyperglide cassette like this with the Shimano branding on it, that's one of their lowest end components that you can really find. It is very low. I would say you would need to upgrade that. Those are put on Walmart bikes and really just kind of the bottom of the barrel. If it wasn't for that, I would probably bump this bike up a little bit higher. But as you can see here, like I was saying, rack mounts for travel bags, for anything like that, if you do want to use it as a little more commuter bike. Next up, also from the US, we have the Cannondale Synapse. This is the Synapse 3, so it is kind of their intro level to the Synapse. It definitely gets a lot of points right out the gate for the looks. I mean, that is beautiful. That is just a great looking bike, however you put it. We have 7 different sizes that this one comes in, so it gives you a really good range. That's something that definitely bumps it up. Now, just one thing to point out here, and again, this is kind of stupid, but Cannondale, what is going on here? Why did you leave so much cable on the brake for your demo pick? It looks like an antenna. It's back here too. But that's dumb. Now, you will have disc brakes on this one, obviously, as you can see. They are mechanical disc brakes, so you're not going to have to worry about hydraulic fluid pumping out, air bubbles, anything like that. It's going to be a lot lower maintenance. It's almost going to be the maintenance level of a rim brake, but with that disc brake advantage. Again, down the road, I think this gives you a lot more options for upgrading your bike with the way that wheel companies are manufacturing now. And this one, we are moving a little bit up from where we were previously. We are going to Shimano Sora, so we are getting a little bit of a better group set. You're getting that 2x9 this time instead of the 2x8 on the previous one. Some other key features that they do like to kind of highlight in here is that it is their C2 alloy. I have ridden some Cannondales with this, and they are very good. They're not the best in the world, but they're very, very good. You're getting an FSA Vero Compact 5034. Most of these bikes are going to have 5034 chain rings, and that's going to be up front where your actual pedals are kind of attached to. That's the chain rings up there, and your crank set is the whole thing together. 5034 is going to give you a really nice range. I'm actually running a 5034 right now on my tarmac because I do like the compacts, and I'm terrible at climbing. So that's why I tend to go with that. Again, Shimano Sora, you're going to get 11 to 34 on the back. You're getting 9 speed. You do have room for extra bags, trainer axles, things like that. And yeah, I think overall this is a very good bike. It is coming in at $1,300, so far this is our most expensive bike. It's going to go up a little, but I think overall, for the money, this is a very good bike. You got the two options of the Smoke Black or the Laguna Yellow. If it's my money, I'm getting the Laguna Yellow. I think that just looks fantastic. Next bike we are going to be looking at, this is on the list, I think, solely for Italian machismo, because I think it is just absolutely gorgeous. This is a perfect intro bike in my mind, and I don't think if you rolled up on this in any race, anybody would give you any doubt that you are on something cool. This is the Weiler Tristina Montegrappa. My best Italian pronunciation I can do there. Now, this is their intro level. It is 1,300 euros, which translates to about $1,425 roughly, plus the shipping and everything like that. But overall, I think it's a very good value for the money. You are getting an aluminum frame here, which I believe, again, is 6061 aluminum alloy. You are getting a carbon fork, and this time we are moving up a little bit further. We are getting Shimano Tiagra 4700. Let's take a look at some of the other components that we're seeing on this bike. Like I was saying, Alu 6061 double butted. That's going to be very comfortable, very nice to ride. We are getting a little bit lighter too in the bikes. This one only at 9.5 kilograms, so taking a little bit of weight off. There's a lot of room for weight to go down even further in there. Some nice wheels, upgrade from the aluminum components like the seat post, the handlebars, the stem, everything like that. I think you could have a really, really nice bike here. Now, the 4700 is 10 speed, so you're getting a little bit more in there. You're getting that one extra in the back. Shimano Tiagra GS, that's going to be the long cage rear derailleur, meaning you have some space for up to a 34 tooth, cassette on the back, which will give you some nice little breaks in the climb, especially also if you're just now getting into bike riding on a road bike itself. It is rim brake. We're going away a little bit from the disc brakes of the last couple bikes. Like I said, I still love rim brake. I don't care what anyone says. I think they are great. If you want to go with rim brake, definitely do. And you can even check out one of my upcoming videos where I review a set of Light Bicycle R45 Falcon rim brake carbon wheels. So you would have upgrade options. I just think you're going to have a little more broad options if you do go with the disc brake bike. Coming up next at number 5, we are staying in Italy for the OG, the Bianchi Via Nirone 7. Now, Bianchi is a very prestigious brand, lots of history to them. I think they may have peaked design-wise in the late 90s, early 2000s, but that's neither here nor there. This is a very good-looking bike. This is one of the bikes on the list that I actually have gotten to ride and test, and it is fantastic. For being an intro-level bike, it rides way better than it should. There's no reason that it should feel as good as it does, and really just it feels reactive and zippy and like it wants to go, it wants to be on the road. We are going up a little bit on price here to $1,400 now, and I also would put this higher, but we are on Sora again, so we're going back to a 2x9. Otherwise, we're getting similar to the other bikes. We are also going to have a 6061 hydroformed aluminum frame on this one. We're going to have the Shimano Sora R3000 kind of across the board here. A couple little Bianchi extras thrown in there, here and there. Formula hubs, Veloman wheels, nothing really special there, nothing to write home about, probably a little heavy. Veloman for the rest of the finishing kit, the seat post, the saddle. Saddle, we're actually getting Silly Royale Veloman, so fancy. Otherwise, I think it is a great bike. We are also going back to rim brake. Now, one thing I didn't mention before about rim brake is going to limit your tire sizes a little bit more. Most rim brakes are limited to about 25 millimeters, especially if we're looking at these here. I'm not sure the exact measurement on the what the Sora brakes can accept. Maybe I'll check that and put it down here at some point in the video. But it could be about 25 to 28, so not that high. With the disc brake bikes, you're going to be able to go a little bit higher, as we've seen up to 35. Now at number 4, we have kind of a twofer here. We have the giant Contend AR series, and we've got the AR3 and the AR4. Now I wanted to talk about both of these bikes because I think they are both absolutely great value for the money. They are going to be running Claris on the AR4 and Sora on the AR3. So we're going to take a look at the Sora one just because I want to. I think it looks a little better. Obviously, the frame looks fantastic here. It is great. Giant has always made a good bike. This is another one that I have gotten to test ride, and I found it fantastic. Almost bought one just for having, for kind of shits and giggles to play around with and have as a cool little extra bike. Some of the cool features that they do have in this one that the other ones are not going to have is that the Giant bikes do have this defuse technology that they put in that does make the handlebars and the seat post a little bit more comfortable, a little bit better for those longer rides when you're putting in a lot of miles. And it also is good when you're first getting out there and kind of figuring out how to ride a road bike. It is a compact frame. Like most of these that we are seeing, these are actually compact frames, which is something that Giant did kind of develop back in the early 90s, where the top tube of the bike right here does slant back further, which gives you a more relaxed, kind of comfortable geometry. A lot of these, we're going to see a lot more headroom in the headset itself, a little bit more relaxed angle. What this is going to do is just make it more comfortable to ride the bike for longer. Overall, after that, it really is kind of the same as the other ones. We are seeing Shimano Sora across the board. You're getting a Giant wheel set, which Giant wheels are actually pretty good. They don't start you out with something that needs to be upgraded right out the gate. You can ride these for quite some time, and even if you do upgrade, I'd probably keep them around just as a set of training wheels because they're pretty fantastic. I like that they are honest about the weight, and there is no accurate way to determine the weight because that will vary between sizes and possible even builds that you do changing the finishing kit or anything like that. So they do recommend you talk to your local retailer to get the exact weight on this one. A little more expensive here at $1,350, but I think overall you get a lot of bike for what you're buying. Bikes have gone up a lot in price over the last couple of years. When I was a junior first starting out, you could get a really great bike for only about $700-800, and then it kind of went up from there. Those times are really gone, and the intro lines are starting at around about $1,000 up. So apart from the Fuji Sportif that we looked at earlier, most of these are going to be a little bit over $1,000, but there are financing options available. You can save up your, I don't know, newspaper money. Do people still do that? You could get a bike and deliver newspapers. I think that'd be a great value. You could pay for the bike with the work. Coming up next at number 3, one of my all-time favorite platforms for a bike ever, we have the Specialized Allez. Now, this is the lowest level intro Allez. They do have quite a few levels above this. The Allez has always been a fantastic road bike. One of my favorite ones I raced on as a junior was a 2001 Allez Pro M4. That was just an absolutely gorgeous bike that I love dearly, and I regret every day since I sold it. But the Allez here is a really fantastic one. You're getting the smart weld technology that you're seeing on some of the other higher level bikes, and you're seeing some of the geometry taken from Specialized tarmac with the kind of slanted down seat stays here, a little bit more racy geometry, but as you can see right here, quite a lot of room in this head tube. A little bit more space in there and a little bit more relaxed angle, so it's gonna be very, very comfortable. Now this one is coming in right at $1,000, so I think bang for buck, really great deal. We are moving down to Shimano Sora for this one. Actually, Claris, my apologies. We are looking at Shimano Claris, so we are going 8-speed. I still think it's great value at $1,000. You're going to get that 5034 again, like we've been talking about with other ones. You're going to get an 1132 cassette on the back, like a lot of the other ones. Something you will notice the more and more you look at bikes is that a lot of them are very similar with the components they put on, so it really kind of becomes about what frame you kind of like the most. But a Specialized just feels good. I have loved Specialized for a long time. I think you can't go wrong, especially with a bike like this. We are going back to rim brakes, so we're going to be limited again on a little bit of the tire clearance and things like that, and maybe possibly upgrading the wheels in the future. But overall, I think it's really great. And you can get it in red, and nothing looks better than a Specialized in red. They are just gorgeous. So I think if you were to go with something like this, you'd be well worth it. Now, coming in at number 2, this is gonna be one of the big boys. This is one of the best bikes I think you can get for an intro kind of endurance road bike. We have the Canyon Endurace 6. Now, this bike, it doesn't pull any punches. This is gonna be a full-out machine from day one that you get it. You are getting an aluminum frame, I believe, again, 6061, as we've said with all the other ones. Carbon fork, one of Canyon's proprietary carbon forks. Their carbon forks are fantastic, and it just looks great. I mean, look at it. It is clean, nothing through the welds, absolutely gorgeous. Clearance for up to 35C tires, so you're going to get a lot of space in there. You could take this as a gravel bike if you wanted to. If you want to fit some knobby 35s on there, you could probably do it and take it on some nice, easy gravel paths. Coming in at 9.4 kilograms, so not super chunky. Definitely room for improvement with upgrades and things like that. We are looking at, this time, a Shimano Tiagra group set. Tiagra 4700 again. As we saw with the Weiler earlier, 4700 is a fantastic group set. Honestly, I think it is unseated Shimano 105 as the group set of the people. I think Tiagra is a working man's group set. It is fantastic, absolutely great. I've ridden a couple bikes on it. I actually have a complete group set of Tiagra 4700 that I am going to be doing in a build video coming up pretty soon. Building a bike for my fiance for her first actual road bike. So we're going to see how that turns out once we get that all put together. Long cage derailleur gives you that range of up to a 34 tooth in the cassette back there. You're getting some Fulcrum wheels, which are just absolutely great. Fulcrum has a very good pedigree, very good wheel maker, consistent for a long time. I would definitely endorse riding on some Fulcrums. And you're getting a Selle Italia saddle. This is one of the first bikes we're seeing that instead of just having some random branded or in-house components on it, we're actually getting some very top-end saddles here. The Selle Italia, I've had quite a few of them. Always loved them. Never a problem with them. I think you'd be really great to go with that. Other than that, you're getting the starter box. Canyon does not retail in stores. Important to note, they are online only, which means they can pass savings on to you. Now, you're kind of maybe wondering, the bike is still $1,500 though. How is there any savings here? When you really add up that Shimano Tiagra group set, the Fulcrum wheels, the Selle Italia saddle, this bike would easily be $2,000 with any other retail. So at $1,500, really not bad whatsoever. They also do constantly run outlet sales where you can get previous model year bikes for deep discounts, so always good to check there and see if there is maybe the previous year's model on sale. You could get it a little bit even cheaper. And now we come to our number 1 intro endurance bike of the group. Now originally the Canyon was going to be my number 1, and then I just on a whim decided to look at this company's website and see what they had in their intro line, and it outright blew it out of the water. There was no contest. And what we are going to be looking at here is the Ribble R872 Disc Sport. Now, this is the one and only bike on our list that is a full carbon frame, and it is coming in at $1,343.76. I dare you to find a better carbon frame for that price in an intro road bike, because this is just fantastic. I mean, look at it, the little details. You're getting Mavic wheels right out the gate. Mavic, another favorite company of mine. They have a tendency to do a lot of really stupid things for what seems like no reason, and then it turns out down the road, they're genius. So I think these are absolutely fantastic for a starter bike. You're getting a lot of the Level components. Level is Ribble's in-house brand, so you are getting some of their kind of in-house stuff, but you are also getting a Pro Logo saddle. Ridden on a couple pro logos, liked them all. Not really for me, but also not a bad saddle. I think it can get you quite a lot of miles. But this bike is just frankly gorgeous. For under $1,400 for a full carbon frame and for Shimano Tiagra 4700 as your group set, I just don't think it gets any better. This is one that I've even looked at myself and seriously considered having as a training bike because I think it is just right out the gate so fantastic. You do only have the 5 size ranges, but they do pretty clearly notated here of who could kind of be for what. Now, Ribble is a British brand. They are all handmade in Britain, so there aren't a lot of options in the States to go really kind of test ride one of them. So talking to a Ribble expert and your local bike shop to kind of get sized for a bike would probably be best first. You are getting disc brakes on this one, as most of the bikes on this list. You're getting a 10-speed rear cassette with 1132. It's going to be a great little range there. You're getting a 5034 up front. Again, very, very nice little compact crankset. And it is an FSA Omega Mega XO. FSA makes some pretty fantastic cranksets. You're going to find them on a lot of intro level bikes, but that doesn't mean that they are at all bad. They are fantastic. Overall, I just think this is the best bike for your money. I don't think you can get any better. And at that $1,300 price point, really not bad at all. But you can make that more because Ribble offers custom color. So if you don't like this, what they call, I believe, anthracite, whatever. You can do their custom color options, which I can even show you a little bit of now. So we're going to select one. I'm going to build it like I am building a bike for myself. Go to customize here, change the color. We're going to select custom. We're going to configure it. And look at all these different options that you can do here. Let's go with teal, because I think that looks nice. Let's do a little midnight ink for the decal color. Oh, look, we can add a gradient. A little Maillot Jaune. Hey, look, I've made a late 90s, early 2000s Bianchi. Get on it, Bianchi. Stop making crap. But I think really, it doesn't even add that much more. I think it adds about, $400 or $500. So it looks like total comes to about $1,900, just shy of $2,000. But if you're spending $2,000 on a custom paid-in bike for your very first bike, you are going to ride this thing forever and ever. Again, I think you have a lot of room for upgrades here. I think you could ride this for a good 10 years. And a lot of people will tell you off of carbon when you first get a bike. They'll say, oh, well, if it breaks, and you're just done. Which is, I don't know why this rumor is still around. It is very easy to repair carbon and really not that expensive. So if this is what you want, I don't think it gets any better for an intro level bike than the Ribble R872 disc. Well, that is our video of the top 10 endurance intro-level road bikes for 2023, but maybe you have a different one that you think might be better. Let us know down in the comments below. Like and subscribe, turn on the notifications, all that good, fun YouTube stuff, and we will see you next time.